oh my god, we're getting a new trilogy of Star Wars movies penned by Simon Kinberg, who's done a lot of the X-Men movies. Except we're not. Now here's the thing, I'm someone who is very positive about current Star Wars. I enjoy it, some projects have their issues, but overall I like talking about the things I like rather than the things I don't like. That's just the way it is. But I'm also realistic when it comes to Hollywood production. Now, seeing this headline from Deadline of Star Wars Trilogy deal, Lucasfilm taps Simon Kinberg to write and produce, makes me go, So let's look at this a bit through a bit of a critical lens. Now look, here's the thing. Lucasfilm has a bad track record of getting Star Wars movies into production. That is a fact. How many times have we seen this? You know, this Star Wars project is announced. This Star Wars project is no longer moving forward. This person has left this Star Wars project. You know, it feels like a lot, right? The thing is that it's just kind of the nature of Hollywood. It really, really is. Now, it seems to get publicized a lot more with things like Disney and Lucasfilm and Sony Studios, but it does happen a lot throughout the industry. But here's the thing. When you hear, you know, person X has been hired to write new Star Wars movie, the general population has this reaction. Why are they announcing a new project? They haven't even finished these other projects that they announced. They've cancelled all these other projects, you know, well, they haven't moved forward with any of the ones they announced at Celebration the other year. You know, why are they announcing a new one? A new trilogy even? They couldn't even get the other movies made. And the reason is because they're not actually announcing it. One, this announcement didn't come from Lucasfilm. It came from Deadline, and the quote from Deadline was, "I heard," and insiders. In the same article, these same insiders dispute some of the other sources that they had for the article. One saying that, you know, the new trilogy will be episodes 10, 11, and 12, and then another source said, no, it won't be. So already, we're not off to a great start. Now, the second thing is that when a studio brings in a writer and asks for a script, at that point in time, this is not a movie. Alright? It's not a movie. It is a concept. It is an idea.
Fugazi, fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real, right?
And at that moment in time, all the studio is looking for is that, a script. There is no budget, there is no concept art, there are no sets being built, there is no casting taking place, location scouting. It's just not happening because the movie is not actually in production. Now, we saw something like this happen with Patty Jenkins and Rogue Squadron. We heard reports that the movie wasn't moving forward, then months and months later, Jenkins came out and was like, you know, I'm still working on the script because I owe them a script. So what's likely to happen is that she turns in a script and Lucasfilm says, hey, we're not going to move forward with this one. Or they'll say, hey, yep, cool, let's get a second draft going, maybe attach a second writer to it so they can bounce ideas off of each other. Or they take the script and say, hey, thank you, and then they get another writer in to work it, rewrite it, you know, iterate on what Jenkins has done, and Jenkins moves on and leaves. So when this article comes out and people get the idea in their heads that this is a tangible thing, it's a done deal, there's new movies being made right now, and it's just not the case. It's not real. Especially in the case of Lucasfilm, where a lot of projects never really even make it past this conceptual stage and into actual production, actual development. What's most likely is right now, Kinberg is writing a script and was like, yeah, it might be a trilogy, it might not be a trilogy. They tell someone, that someone tells someone else, and that someone tells Deadline, and then they reach out for more comments, and people are like, no, this isn't 10, 11, 12, who said that? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this isn't really news. That's what I kind of want you to take away from this. You know, this isn't me going to be sitting here being like, haha, Lucasfilm is bad at making movies, you know, but let's face it, they're not great at getting them into production past this conceptual stage that we're in. But I'm also not going to sit here and be like, oh yes, new Star Wars movies, new trilogy on the way, because that's not realistic either. Because once again, this did not come from Lucasfilm. This is in its conceptual stages. When they finish a script, they either will move forward with it or they won't, which is why this isn't officially announced. So months down the line or sometime next year when if we hear, that Lucasfilm no longer moving forward with Kinberg's Star Wars trilogy, you can already see that headline. Just know that it was never a done deal in the first place. It was a script Nothing more, nothing less. Now look, at the end of the day, I hope it works out. I hope we get a new trilogy of movies. I hope it's all new characters as well, because I want fresh stories. I want more stuff like The Acolyte with very little connection to established works. I want the Rey Jedi Order movie because it's moving forward in the timeline and not playing around in between previously established episodes. I want the Mangold Dawn of the Force movie because it's so far back in the timeline that there would be zero connection to anything out. I want fresh stories in this universe. Now look, I hope they can make it work, but I will also not be surprised if it doesn't work out, because that's just kind of the nature of this beast at the moment. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm not trying to shit on anyone that's excited for this, but I'm also not trying to hype this up in any way either. This is simply a piece of news with some pretty weak sources to back it up. But that's just my take on it. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. May the Force be with you.